And although we are not in office yet, I'm just laying out what we expect to do and hope can be done, some of it between now and the time we are sworn in. But so the purpose of this is to let you know what we're going to do once sworn in. And so there's a need for bold action to fight this pandemic. We're still facing a very dark winter.
Shalom. I'd like to give all and the glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Like give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Salutations to our sincere Akim, pushing his word out across the four corners of the world. And if you're observing the times that we are in, as it says in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, about measuring the times diligently in itself, meaning that you're seeing what's going on within current news, current events, and you're filtering it out with the Holy Scriptures, according to the Spirit. So right now in the UK, they keep talking about how it's a supply chain crisis happening over there, and how it's leading to the worst food shortages since the 1970s. And as you know through the Spirit, what's happening over there in the UK, it's a foreshadowing of things that's going to come here to that main hub, which is America, known as Babylon the Great, according to the Holy Bible. So I came across an article from newstarget.com, and the title says, "Is the American food supply chain collapsing?" And this was published on October the 6th, 2021. The word of the month is transitory. Inflation, supply chain woes, and other problems are all going away soon, we are told, except for the fact that they are not. The supply chain crisis with food alone is much worse than the mainstream media is letting on, despite all of the rosy language being used to try to quell the panic. As it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, "For when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them." This is according to Michael Snyder of the Economic Collapse blog, who says that an industry insider spilled the beans to him about how serious things really are. Also, biblical prophecy of the book of Psalm, the 64th chapter, how they should make their own tongues fall upon themselves. Hence, these whistleblowers who know the secrets of these international bankers. It says this insider, who is said to run a grocery store in Maine, says things are worse than he has ever seen. His exact words were that he has never seen anything close to what is happening now. In an email, this person, who says he has been self-employed for 25 years and runs an independent IGA-affiliated grocery store along the coast of Maine, explains that supply chain problems are real and that orders are seriously backed up. "My supplier has limited us on orders for about a month now, limited the physical number of cases we can order," the email explains. Their issue was mainly the health crisis in their warehouse, order pickers and truck drivers. Same story everywhere, I know. And as you can see, what's in quotation marks was always about destroying the world's economies. And that's why this Edomite by the name of Klaus Schwab, he's the founder of the World Economic Forum, and he stated that this pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity for that great reset. And this is what all this is about that's happening with this so-called pandemic, which is a foreshadowing of things to lead into that Karama mentioned in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. So Esau, he's trying to fulfill his enterprise, mentioned in the book of Job, the 10th chapter. And you go to the word enterprise in the etymological line, it means to take in hand, which is the ultimate way the elites of Esau, Edom, they want everybody, rich and poor, small and great, free and bond, to receive that particular mark. And it says, "We have been covering this situation for months now, only to watch it worsen by the day. Many are hoping that things will just get better somehow, but it will appear as though C-19 really is bringing about an engineered economic collapse, followed by a great reset. More proof that the scriptures are authentic by stating that this is the secret counsel of the wicked, according to the book of Psalm, and also according to the book of Isaiah, the 29th chapter, how they do their works in the dark, and they say, who sees? So now all this is coming to the light now, because we are at the end of America's collapse. I'm gonna jump down, and it says, "As for the center aisles full of dry grocery products, the store operator says there are tons of out of stocks, and meat, though fair in quantity, is now extremely high in price. Shockingly high to me," he says. "The middle class is slowly being destroyed with these price hikes. Death by 1,000 cuts of sorts, I guess." More proof again according to Revelation 13 chapter, how he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. Notice it didn't state anything about the middle class, because the so-called pandemic is a perfect opportunity for the elites to go ahead and cut off the middle class, starting with these moms and pop stores. So the middle class is slowly being destroyed with these price hikes, death by 1,000 cuts of sorts, I guess. Frito-Lay products are down in supply by as much as 45%, the store operator added, along with a 30% out of stock average for Nabisco products. Pepper Ridge Farm cookies are down about half, and liquor out of stocks are averaging about 30%. This commodity was always 99.5 to 100% fill rate over the years. Always, he emphasized about the liquor supply. These folks all work on commission. If they don't or can't sell it to me, they don't get paid or get paid less. Jump down, it says, a lockdown of sorts will not surprise me again as we move into the colder months, he writes. So with this so-called pandemic, which was systematically designed by the elites of Esau Edom, and it's going to lead to an engineered economic collapse, notice this is happening before the colder months. You see what's happening right now in the UK? Those same type of things are going to happen right here to America, but it's going to be way much worse. And this is all happening before these colder months, before the winter time. And before Joe Biden got into the office, he kept talking about dark winter, which is going to Operation Dark Winter, or Directive 51, which is a global pandemic exercise that was designed by the DoD, the Department of Defense. And it's an exercise where they give you instructed lessons just in case they come across a bioterrorism attack. So what does that tell you? That these elites, they've been knowing about this so-called pandemic. And this is also part of Esau prophesying on that left-hand side, via through where it can be through articles, news clips, magazines, TV shows, cartoons, movies, the list goes on. Because it's a part of their Freemasonry order that they have to tell the public or the masses the truth before they push out a certain agenda, so they can be justified. So this is Esau's left-hand way of prophesying to the masses, which is called predictive programming. So going back to the title of this article, is the American food supply chain collapsing? And to answer that according to the scriptures, yes it is. And this is the book of Revelation, the 22nd chapter, and the 10th verse. And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Linking up with Isaiah, the 46th chapter, and the 10th verse, the Most High Yahweh stated that my counsel should stand. And part of his counsel is fulfilling his word, aka biblical prophecies. And part of that time is at hand is leading to the time of Jacob's trouble, where there's going to be a time that this world has never experienced before. And throughout that transition, it's going to be the time of Esau Edom's downfall of his rulership. Because the elites of Esau Edom really think that they're going to be 100% successful with this NWO agenda, this global transformation, but not knowing that the Heavenly Father Yahweh is utilizing them so he can checkmate them by sending Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son, to disrupt their NWO order or agenda. So this is the time is at hand, which leads me to the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, and the 10th verse. The city of confusion is broken down. The city of confusion is referencing to America, known as Babylon the Great. You go into the Hebrew word for Babylon is Babal, which means confusion, chaos, disorder. And that's the type of spiritual mindset is running rampant here in the various cities, states of America. So alluding back to the title of this article, it's the American food supply chain collapsing. But pursuant to biblical prophecy right here, Isaiah 24:10, it says the city of confusion is broken down. So it's being broken down from an economical perspective. Because what's going over there in the UK is just a foreshadowing things that's going to come here to America, that main hub. But it's going to hit much harder here because Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, he's using the elites of Esau Edom to save the best for last, which is Babylon the Great. So the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Verse 11, there's a crying for wine in the streets. And that wine is referencing to this truth of the scriptures, where you're going to have 2/3 of our people mainly that they're going to be looking for the truth when they had the opportunity and time to adhere to the prophets, but they want to do otherwise. So this is the time frame that these people, more so 2/3 of our people, are going to be in that pitiful state, because it's going to be too late. And that's when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to withdraw his righteous prophets out there from the street corners, which is going to be the famine of the word. So there's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. And that's the time frames that we are heading to. Pursuant to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So the time frame that we are in now through the Spirit, a time to break down, a time to mourn, a time of war. So all these different aspirations, goals, and dreams that these different people have in America, trying to accomplish this so-called American dream, all that's being shadowed now by all the different calamities and afflictions that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is bringing upon this place. So all joy is darkened. You don't have those high hopes like you once did. And it says the mirth of the land is gone. So all that party time, that playtime, these people are getting more serious now, because with this global supply chain crisis, which is coming to America, it's going to hit very much harder. And you got to think about it. These people have families. So these people are going to be in that animalistic type of behavior when they see these different grocery stores have empty shelves, these outrageous gas prices. So it's going to be a lawless type of society out here. So the Most High, he's diminishing the mirth of the land day by day here. So like I stated earlier, if you are truly observing the times through the Spirit, measuring the times diligently in itself, then you will know according to the Spirit that the time is at hand. And also, like I stated, that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, he's utilizing his vessel with dishonor, beginning with the leets of Esau, Edom. And that's pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter. The Most High stated that I will give him charge, meaning that he's going to give the leets of Esau, Edom, that command to come down upon our people that great wrath. And a part of that great wrath is Esau utilizing that sword, which is going to be the left-hand bidding of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to fulfill biblical prophecy. And a part of that biblical prophecy, as you're seeing what's going on in the UK with this supply chain crisis, is leading to the worst food shortages since the 1970s. So that's letting you know through the Spirit that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua are working through these elites on their left-hand side to cause this drastic shortage, going into this great famine, which is also biblical prophecy, because they are in control of the food supply. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And this is 2 Esdras 6 verse 22. And suddenly should the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses should suddenly be found empty. And that's going to these grocery stores where it's going to be found nothing but empty shelves when this global supply chain crisis hits here in America. So what the elites of Esau Edom are doing, they're utilizing that left-hand propaganda machine or tool, which is this mainstream media, this mainstream news, and they are scaring the masses. When you have a lot of these people here in America, they are witnessing what's occurring over there in the UK. Where you have a lot of people over there in the UK are into that mode of panic buying. They're buying up all the gas. And where you have the Prime Minister there, Boris Johnson, he has requested the army to go ahead and assist with the fuel deliveries. And that's all because of fear. So that same type of behavior is going to be brought forth over here to America. And it's called panic buying, where it's a rapid increase in purchase volume. And with that type of behavior, the price of that particular good or item is going to increase dramatically. And with that panic buying, it's going to reduce the supply, but it's going to create a higher demand. So when these different Americans cannot get their basic essential items or food supplies or even gas, that's going to lead into a lot of commotions, chaos. And that's when these elites are going to be witnessing the chaos that's going throughout America. And that's when they're going to bring their order. And just days ago at the port of Los Angeles, it was a ship with all types of supplies just being staying still. And they stated within that news clip, if this problem continues, this can cause a nationwide food supply shortage. Just more proof that all this is systematically engineered. So that was just my take through the Spirit upon this article. Is the American food supply chain collapsing? And according to the scriptures, yes, it is. The same things that's occurring over there in the UK It's going to be brought forth over here to America, but in a way much worse case. Just like the army is being hired over there in the UK to do the biddings of the prime minister, you have over here in New York where the National Guard troops are substituting for hospital staff shortages. So all these false narratives is a part of Esau's way of prophesying, which is called predictive programming. So Abaradazak, you always edify with that. You all keep pushing, stay strong. Shalom.